We're taking a live look outside our station here at Spear and Logan in Denver. We've seen the skies go a little darker today and those winds picking up in the last hour. Here's a look from about 20 minutes ago in Siebert, east of Lyman. If you look closely, you'll see some pieces of hail coming down this afternoon. The Eastern Plains is getting the brunt of the severe weather today, and about 10 storm chasers now have reported a tornado out there on the Eastern Plains. Let's start with our Corey Reppenhagen in tonight tracking storms. Tell us more about this tornado.
Yeah, and it's that storm cell that you were just showing there in Siebert. The I-70 corridor kind of got missed by this, but this is just to the south. Here's Flagler up here on I-70. Siebert's right in here. And we have a tornado warning down to the south of that, about 15 miles. Storm chasers did report a brief spin up of a tornado there, which has since dissipated, but that could be the beginning of something bigger. So they've continued this tornado warning here for Kit Carson County, headed down into Cheyenne County near Cheyenne Wells here over the next 30 or 40 minutes. This image shows velocity, so the way the winds are turning. The red colors are going away from the radar and the green colors are coming towards it. And right in here is where we saw that rotation where the green and red are coming together. That's starting to weaken a little bit, but honestly, it's not just the tornadoes that I'm concerned about. All of these storms are very nasty. We have a line of storms up to the south here. These are producing very large hail and some damaging winds. And then a secondary line right down here, the one that produced the tornado down there in Kit Carson County. So we're watching all these very closely. You can see this line right here moved through Fort Morgan and Wiggins not too long ago, and that is pressing off to the east. These storm cells are moving very fast, and you can kind of see how they're kind of linear. We call that kind of a squall line, which means all the wind out in front of this can be very dangerous. You see the tornado warning here that's being continued for another 30 minutes as it enters Cheyenne County. Back here in the Denver metro here, we do have a few heavy showers in the area, but no severe weather. We'll keep an eye on that as we go through the night here. Here's a look at downtown Denver right now. You see some areas here to the south of Denver picked up a heavy shower over the last 10, 15 minutes or so, but here's the telemetry out at DIA, 63 degrees. The winds have been really kicking out there on the east side of town, 16 miles an hour at DIA right now. We'll keep an eye on all of this as we go into the next forecast segment here in the Denver metro area and those big storms out in the Eastern Plains as well.
Video captured the scary moments this morning as people were climbing out of a second story of a Denver apartment building trying to escape a fire this morning. It happened on Clarkson Street near 22nd, where 5 people were taken to the hospital. 9 News reporter Evan Krugel spoke with a neighbor who raced in to get those people to safety.
As smoke and people poured out of a second-story window, neighbors raced across the street to help.
The flames were coming out the front door when the other guy kicked it in, and I think it was a bad situation getting worse.
Adam Steinbach quickly realized this awning outside the window wasn't going to support people for long.
They were obviously cut off from the front door to be able to exit, so that was the only way they could get out. Just figured out how we were going to get them down. It was definitely too far to jump, so yeah, I just ran back and grabbed a ladder, threw it up, and was able to get a couple of them down before the fire department showed up with the taller ladder.
Denver Fire says 5 people were taken to the hospital.
Yeah, they were in pretty bad shape. Definitely smoked up and hair singed and lots of bumps and bruises from trying to crawl around and whatnot. They were pretty scared.
Adam credits firefighters for getting here quickly. A fast response he knows a thing or two about.
Yeah, early on in my life, I was a firefighter for a few years, so had a little bit of recollection there I could go back to.
He's hoping the people he helped are okay and says he's thankful he was in the right place at the right time.
A little chaotic, yeah. Nice calm morning turned into a lot of chaos, but thank God nobody was killed.
Now, right now, we don't know the condition of those 5 people taken to the hospital, and the cause of this fire is still under investigation. Evan Krugel, 9 News.
Evan, thank you. Douglas County deputies are looking into reports of an explosion and a fire at a house this morning. Happened around 3:15 in the morning on Platt Avenue in Sedalia. Deputies say a house and an RV were both on fire when they got there. They evacuated nearby houses while firefighters put out that fire. Nobody got hurt. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused that one. Tonight, we are hearing from the homeowner who walked outside yesterday to find a plane crashed on his front lawn. Happened in Arvada yesterday morning. The NTSB says the plane left the Centennial Airport headed for the airport in Broomfield. All 4 people inside that plane were taken to the hospital. 9 News reporter Lauren Scafidi takes us to Arvada for an update today.
Take a look at your screen. Do you see this big chunk that's missing out of this spruce tree back here? The NTSB says that the plane flew into that tree on the way down, made its way all the way up here, left these tracks at the sidewalk and on the road, and ended up here in this front lawn where it caught fire.
Just from the heat, there's a little bit of melting right here. You can see where the window's all cracked up from the heat.
Some things will need to be fixed.
I didn't even notice the pear tree until this morning. It singed it clear to the very top leaves.
After something indescribable happened in Randy Hamrick's,
it was just
front yard.
I don't even know how to explain, what was going through my head, I guess. It was just disbelief, I guess. The house just violently shook. We got a really heavy orange glow through the windows.
Didn't know what to expect when he walked outside.
And then to see an aircraft on fire in our front yard, that was unexpected. When I first opened the door, it was just fully engulfed, flames, 10, 15 foot in the air right here. It was the nose of it was kind of towards the front of our pickup.
The NTSB covered the lawn before last night's storm.
And they're gonna be out to dig it up and remove it, either today or Monday.
The pilot's conversation with air traffic control gives clues to what happened in the air.
I've got an oil light on. Losing pressure. Can I get on the ground, please, sir?
Randy says by the time he quickly put shorts on and ran back out, people were helping the passengers get out.
I yelled at them and they were like, stay back, we've got everybody out. They were dragging them around the front of the pickup out into the street, away from the heat and the flames.
4 people were sent to the hospital with serious or critical injuries. The NTSB confirmed 2 were adults. Arvada police said the other 2 were children.
I wish the best for them.
Randy is thankful because lives cannot be replaced.
Nobody lost their life and everything else is fixable.
Everything else,
it's just stuff.
Can be.
All in all, it's very minimal.
This truck probably has the most damage. Look at everything is burned on this thing. The homeowner tells me this is his daughter's truck and it was in the driveway when the plane crashed. Look at how much is burned. The tire is falling apart and the front is really damaged too. The headlights are hardly there. In Arvada, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
And our 9 News aviation expert, Greg Feith, says investigators will likely focus on whether there was anything the pilot could have done any sooner to prevent that crash from happening in the first place.
Did the pilot have the best option where he landed or where the airplane came down? Were there other options? General aviation airplanes are built with a level of crash worthiness, if you will. They do have seat belts and shoulder harnesses in most of the aircraft, depending on the vintage. So they'll want to know exactly how the aircraft hit the ground and what the instrument was that caused the injuries to the occupants of the aircraft.
The NTSB took the plane to its facility in Greeley to investigate further. They will examine the plane more there. Starting today, the city of Aurora has new weekend rules at the Aurora Reservoir. Every Saturday and Sunday for the time being, the park will start closing at 6 p.m. and no booze allowed. The city says they're trying to manage large crowds that always come out once the weather warms up. Aurora will have more officers out there on weekends, and the city said they even decided on these rules because they had a lot of incidents going on at the reservoir. Aurora police say they usually get more calls during the summer and on weekends. So far this year, they've been called out 7 times, 4 times on weekends. 2 of those calls, police tell us, were for assaults between people who knew each other. Last weekend, was a rough one on Colorado's waters. This weekend, there are still warnings in place about rivers running high and fast. Golden police are now limiting swimming and tubing in Clear Creek. The city says the water just isn't safe. So the city's reminding people Clear Creek is not a lazy river kind of float. It's naturally flowing and it can be dangerous, hence the restrictions. Tubing's also closed in the North and St. Vrain Creeks and the St. Vrain River in Boulder County. You can still kayak and use your whitewater canoes there for now.